Perfect. All right. Right, guys. Good morning, everybody. I'm already live in YouTube Live, and I'm gonna do a training today. My name is Julio Veras. I'm an instructor of real estate, and we're gonna go doing assist contracts today, and it's gonna start with a condo contract. Usually, we're gonna pull it from Form Simplicity. If anybody knows about it, it's Form Simplicity. Right, guys. Good morning, everybody. I'm already live in YouTube Live, and I'm gonna do a training today. My name is Julio Veras. I'm an instructor of real estate, and perfect. So that everybody hear me, and okay, here we go. Please, if anybody wants, you can log into formsimplicity.com, or you can do it directly to Matrix in your website, and then you're gonna go to blank forms. When you go to blank forms, you're gonna have library there, so you can fill up. The library can use it, so you can pick any of the contracts that you need. You can go any forms, any disclosures, anything that you need in the contract. So you're gonna get it from Form Simplicity. So in here, we're gonna have search the library right now. So I want you to make sure we can search the library. Let's say we're gonna assist contract. And if you put an assist contract, you're gonna hold right here. It's gonna go to assist contract and sales purchase. It's important for you to understand that assist contract, I'm gonna open up for you so you can take a look at it. Right. Okay. Assist contract. Perfect. Let me put it a little bit lower. Okay. I think right there is perfect. Correct. So you see assist residential contract for sales and purchase, right? So first you're gonna see that is very simple, guys. You have to read all the contract, the assist contract by yourself. Any question that you have, let me know. But then the point is this: you have line number 1, 2, using the little asterisks there. So that's one of the main keys that we're gonna go fill up in any of the forms. But of course, you need to get familiar with everything. And the first thing to do is, of course, we got a seller, buyer, and we have property descriptions. And the first page is gonna come from the tax roll, or of course, you can use Matrix again. They automatically fill it up some forms with you. I just wanna go over strictly the forms so people understand around the forms how we can use it. We don't wanna make a mistake, right? Another thing that is important in the assist contract is if you see right here on the line 21 and line 24, right? It's gonna be items included in the purchase. What it means by that? If anything will stay extra on the property, like a chandelier or something that I need to stay, you must add it to the contract. And this is the place you put it. Items excluded from the purchase. Simple, right, guys? So we're gonna take it out. Let's something special that you think the seller may want to take it out. So make sure we put it in there, right? Line 27, purchase price. Of course, purchase price, we know it's gonna be the offer that we're gonna make. Let's talk about right now $100,000 purchase price. So what we're going to do, we're gonna put $100,000, right? And what you're gonna do is, if you right here, depends how you wanna handle it. You can put check is coming with, or to make between. If you put between, you need to put, if you left blank, it's gonna be 3 days. That means the deposits have to be in your hand at that time, right? So if it's deposited in 3 days, it's ready by default. We're gonna put here, we're gonna go at $5,000, right? So we already got the title company, title company X X X-Mens. Of course, you got all the information, you know, on the company, like address, emails, all that you need. So we got to make sure that if you see in the line number 36, additional deposit, you're going to put another deposit, so you can put another 10 days, so you can leave it blank by default, and you're going to put another $5,000. So now you got $10,000 in deposits, correct? So financing, we can do the percentage of financing. Let's say property is going to put 10% down payment, and so you're going to put 90%, right? So that means, right, they're going to finance, the dollar amount they're going to finance is $90,000, 90%, I'm sorry. Let me change right here. Got to be a percentage, 90%. All right. So we have to put express the loan amount, correct, guys? You got to make sure, you know, that you complete the proper numbers to do it. And it's going to be financing. How you gonna see where you can find out about the numbers for financing the property? Very simple. What you're going to do is, when you get your pre-qualification, or buyer or seller, regardless, give you a pre-qualification letter, they usually is going to be all the numbers in there, right? Line 45. Time of acceptance. What is this, guys? Simple. When you want the people to answer the offer. Usually I put 2 days. If you see here, any kind of issue made between 2 days after acceptance. Okay. Then you have, okay, this is done. Then you're gonna have, let's say we're gonna have it today. So you wanna answer on the 3rd, we find. Closing date, guys. Closing date, very important. Closing dates. We're gonna make sure, you know, the closing date when we gotta close the deal. So usually it's gonna take between 45 to 60 days. Okay, we go again. And of course, so we got here, we put, let's say, I'm just gonna put a random number. Usually it's between 45 to 60 days. We have to talk to any of the company that doing the loan for the persons to make sure. In here, line number, if you can see line number 72, check if property is subject to lease occupancy after closing. What that means is, if it's anybody stay on the property after the closing, we may check that one. Line number 87, assignability. That means this one is being using, you know, if anybody want to assign a contract. Let's say you can assign it to a corporation, or you're gonna change the name, you know, regardless. Remember, you have to be disclosed. Financing, we're paying cash for the transaction, 88 or 89 or 90. This contract is contingency. Contingency, it will be a financing. How are you gonna finance it? Very simple. You gotta have the pre-qualification letter, and you know it's gonna be a conventional loan, FHA loan, or VA loan. It's only one. Remember, guys, you have to. We found out exactly what it is: FHA, conventional loan, or VA loan. The next part is page number 3. Page number 3. Remember, guys, page number 3, you have to get familiar with all the contracts, the 12 pages. By line 3, what you're gonna do is you say closing costs, title insurance, survey. That usually the closing costs that the person is gonna expend between buyers and sellers. Line number 136 or line number 146, they will tell you that usually the cost that the seller pay, and this is the buyers. Either way, in the way to say another one, usually we have a regulatory fee of $395. So, or whatever is the company number. So you got to make sure you put it in there, and you have to disclose to the buyer or the seller. Let's say it's going to be the seller, so the same thing. This is the fee the company charge. Either one, you're gonna put it in there. And this is the expenses that the person, remember, person is gonna ask you, oh, what's gonna be my expenses when I buy a property? Well, usually you're gonna pay tax rate, recording fees, owner title policy, survey, lender title, loan expenses, appraisals, buyer inspection, buyer attorney's fees. And of course, the way you're gonna handle it, they're gonna say, oh, but how much is it? Simple. Sir, the loan originator or the mortgage company we you working with, they will give you a good faith estimate to make sure all the numbers are correctly disclosed. Next page, page number 4, guys. Page number 4, seller designate closing agent. These boxes in here, it's only one, but I'm gonna put everything. You're gonna pick one, whatever you choose to pick. Usually, if it's me, I pick Miami-Dade, Broward, regional provision. Everybody pay their own expenses. If you say here, seller pay for some of the expenses, buyer will designate the closing agent. All right. So everything is negotiable in the contracts, so we know that's the way it works. And of course, sorry, line 184, home warranty. The home has any warranty, so we need to ask the seller, and we can include it in there, right? Time of the closing. Page number 5. Remember, page on number 5 is very important. Why? Because it would teach you, the page number 5 would teach you, that's the addendum that you may need for a specific ASIS contract, like lead-based paint, homeowner association, FIRPA, or seller disclosure. That's what they remind you that it depends on the property and the project situation, you need to add the addendums to the contract, the specific for any particular transaction. All the transactions are different, so you gotta make sure if a property is built before 1978, they're gonna need a lead-based paint. If it's in 1985, they don't need a lead-based paint, correct? So that's what it is. All the property usually gonna have a seller disclosure. Why? Because they're gonna see if any materially affecting the value of real estate property. Line number 260, property inspection. If you see this one is bold in black, very hard black. Why? So one of the important part that everybody needs to know. Why? Because everybody has to write to inspect the property, even in SNAC's condition. So you gotta make sure, guys, you got the proper days to inspect the property and comply with the inspection. If you sit in here, sadly, if anything, the person buying the property, if they inspect the property, if they don't like something, on the time period, they may cancel the contract at any time, and the deposit has to be returned. All right. Page number 6. Page number 6. If you say right here in line numbers 275, walk through inspections. What do you mean with that? Simple. What is before the closing, you have to go to a property to inspect the property. As a matter of fact, the buyer must go to inspect the property. Why? Because you want to make sure that the property is in the same condition when you show the property the first time, correct? And line number 280 says, seller assistant and cooperate in close out of building permits. But of course, if any problem with inspection and permits and things like that, with the seller would assist you guys to try to help with all these kind of things, right? Assignment or repair or treatment contract warranties. Remember, sometimes if it's a single family homes, depends, sometimes they need a treatment. Let's say they need a termite treatment. So they need to comply with the termite treatment, and they have to give you all the documents to ensure that the inspection or the treatment is complete. And of course, this is negotiable between buyer and seller, and we have to make sure everything is in order, right? Line number 293, escrow agents. Escrow agent, guys. What do you mean with that? Very simple. We gotta make sure we got the time to collect the money for escrow. We have to deliver the checks on time, right? And remember, all agents, you need to deliver the check immediately, right? And broker liability, and this is where we have covered. Seller, broker advice buyer and seller provide conditions, square footage, and other facts. No, usually we using the seller property disclosure and of course the inspection appraisal to verify all that. So it's few people involved in the transaction all the time, and we're gonna make sure everybody do their jobs, right? And of course, we're always going to have a default and resolution in the next page. What it is if anybody's in default, they may dispute the escrow deposit, they need to go to mediation and all the steps they need to do and dispute the resolutions, right? And we're going to have the page number 8, title examination, survey. That's what the title companies to do. They will check all the surveys, links, and all that kind of stuff. And of course, again, seller property disclosure may help you out with something in there, right? And a standard for real estate transaction, page number 9. The closing location documents, closing documents, and proration and credits. Title company, again, that will help us, to determine, all the proration and things like that, correct? And if it's any FIRPA, this is the standard transaction. All right. This is what the addendums I will need to mention for you. Addendums and additional contracts. When you going to do any specific contract, as is contract, remember what I told you, you're gonna make sure you check the proper boxes. If you need a 1978 lead best paint, if you're buying a property for yourself, you need to disclose that you have a license. You see in the line, and the letters AA, they say licensee property interest. So that means you have a license and you are disclosing the unit, right? Post occupancy, seller property, sale of the property, anything that you need to disclose on the addendum, so you check if applicable on there. And of course, that's the page number 11. Additional terms. An additional term, the page number 12. Anything that you need to disclose about closing costs or anything that you refer to do with the property, you can do in additional terms, right? So you got to make sure, let's say, if you bought a property for $100,000 and maybe they want 3% for closing costs, they can get it. They can qualify for that, and the seller wants to do the exception on it. So you can put it in there. Seller will cooperate with 3% closing costs. And of course, again, we had to disclose buyer and seller had to agree on this. The condition had to be in writing, all that kind of stuff, right? And let's say right now you got a counter offer. You say seller counter offer. So that means you already send the offer and they send you back. So that when the seller is going to check, oh, seller counter offer. And of course, you had to have, this is the best part, right? For everybody is you have to have all the information for the listing agent and the selling agent. I usually add the license too, just to have it in there, but the companies and the percent, usually it will be pay you the commission if it show on the matrix or the MLS. What I suggest if you put it in there, it's easier for everybody, so everybody knows. And remember, at the end of the 12 pages, you had to have all signatures and all initials and dates. Everything has to be complete, filled out. All right. Signatures, initials, and dates. All the pages has to be complete. And remember, and we need to add any additional addendums. We will go through the addendums in another class, but you have to complete the addendums. We had an addendum for HOA, 1978, random gas. Everything will be in a single basis, depends on the property that we're working on that, right? And there will be the 12 pages for the as-is contract. And remember, this contract can be used for a single family home or a condominium. All right, guys? The more important part is, remember, we need to add the addendums in there. And that's going to be the as-is contract. Okay. Usually the days for inspection is going to be, if you left blank, it's 15 days, but you will address any inspection on the property that you want to be expedite or fast. I usually try to do it between 10 days, the inspections. Why? Because I want to accomplish the inspections complete right away. because they may cancel the contract if they don't like something on the property, and I'm not a contractor. So I want to make sure the property understand that you have to do the inspections on the property, okay? So that's the way. If you got any question, you want to text me to the chat, it's fine with me, no problem. Or you just raise your hand and I will take it there. Now we're gonna go, because a lot of, I think one of the things that everybody wants to know about it is about lease contracts. All right, guys? So we're gonna go to contract to lease, same thing. I'm not gonna, give me 1 second. Okay. So contract to lease. What we do with contract to lease, guys? What do? We do contract to lease is for, very simple. Contract to lease will be for properties that you want to list it, that you want to put an offer on the property, okay? I'm gonna share the screen with you again. Give me 1 second. You got the question for the inspection, right? Yeah? Okay. So let's try to make sure it stay on the they gotta make sure open the form simplicity again, because we're gonna go to contract to lease, guys. All right. This one doesn't take that long. I just want to make sure you guys to understand how you're gonna work with this kind of, okay? This is contract to lease there. Everybody found the contract to lease in form simplicity? When you're gonna, this is to put an offer on a lease. Let's say you got a person want to rent the property. So this one is a contract to lease. What you do is, same thing. What you're gonna do is, remember, the first thing that you do with contract, the as-is contract or contract to lease, make sure you print out the MLS or matrix for all the information regarding, you know, you can do it directly to matrix, you know, I'm gonna show you how to do it when you're gonna fill them up, but still you need a basic information that you're gonna go through to this. So with contract to lease, it's very simple because it's only, let me see, remember it's 3 pages only. Yeah, it's only 3 pages, right? So this is like kind of like a present an offer for the people. So what you're gonna do is you put the name of the landlord. This is the name of the landlord. This is Juan is the landlord and Maria is the tenant. Okay. All right. This is when they agree to the agree to do the lease. Remember, usually the landlord will do the lease if you have the tenant, the potential tenant. So let's say it's today, right? So you're gonna do, oh, please, I need to make sure this is complete on the 7th. All right, so you put in here, oh, 15 days, whatever you agree to do it, you need to do the dates. Who's gonna do it? It's gonna be on landlord or tenant. Okay, guys? And then the decision to enter landlord or tenant to pay the deposit, guys. The deposit, let's say the rent is for $1,000. So we got deposit for $1,000. And in here is the title company name. Remember this. And the papers that I give you, that is a title company name that I use, but title company name that I use. Property address, of course, you know, property address, unfurnished or furnished, whatever it's gonna be easy. The address is a home. And there you will have on the bottom, you go forward, lease term. So let's say it's gonna be for 03/01, 2022. Then you're gonna end it in 1 year, right? So it's gonna be 2/28/23. 228.23. Why? Because remember, you have to end it on 1 year. If you do it for 6 months, remember, residential leases is only for more than 6 months. All right, guys, and only can be drawn for 1 year leases. So in here, what you're gonna have is money due before occupancy. If they ask you for 3 months, so you're gonna put 3 months here. So you see, you got here first month $1,000, last month another $1,000, right? And security deposit $1,000, right? So what's gonna happen in here? Remember, they already give me $1,000 in deposit, so you can put it here. The security, the first month is already in place. Why? Because I already collected in the inspection in the deposit. All right, guys. This should be, and this is another form that you have to know how to fill them up. Why? Because you're gonna present leases offers. This is if you got 2 deposits, because sometimes happen. If you want to do 2 deposits, they will tell where the money goes. Let's say I put here $2,000. So, and so how to put it right here? Security deposit will be $2,000. That means they don't want a first month or 2 months or last month. No, they want 2 deposit and the rest. So, and rent payment, tenant will pay for tenancy lease. So if you put it here, if it's gonna be a $12,000 in full, $12,000. $12,000. That's because it's the year, 12 months, right? Total we pay rent a term of, in excluding taxes. Remember that it depends what you agree on the term, but usually they include everything on the lease, so you pay $1,000 again. Only pets, prohibited, or permit. Whatever it is gonna agree, remember, most of the information are on the MLS or the matrix, guys, for this. Usually how much you're gonna pay for deposit, for the pets, or things like that. And the other hand, you have right here is utilities. Why is in here utilities? Because sometimes if it's an apartment, water are excluded. Why? Because the water is included on the building. So again, we need to read the matrix or the MLS. Maintenance for landlord. Some of the landlords, they do the maintenance for the property, except, let's say they don't do it for washer and dryer. So say the washer and dryer is not gonna be covered on that. That's what it is. And of course, the association, 11, association, landlord and tenant. Remember something, no prior occupancy of the property, it doesn't have an approval. Very important, guys. You must have an approval if it's an HOA to make sure you can close the rental property, right? Additional term, well, if you're gonna have any attorneys or anybody gonna receive the money, this is very simple stuff, right? Service status, remember something, if it's defined, landlord must provide reason for denial, okay? And make sure I send you the list of the documents that you need to have ready, for any rental property you're going to do. So make sure you have it so you don't waste your time. Market is very, very competitive and you don't want to take too long. And in here, of course, you're gonna put all your information, your name and everything in there. That's the page number 2. And we got the page number 3, basically, again, remember, everything has to be signed and initial if it needs to be initial. And the dates. It's important for you to have everything initial fill up and the dates. If you had any questions at all, filling out the contract or the listing contract, please call me and give me an hour, a couple hours if you're gonna do it right away, and let me know so we can do it together and I will show you how to do it, not a problem. I just wanna make sure you understand how to do it, the 3 pages, very simple. That's gonna be your complete contract to lease offer. So that means when you're gonna do any lease, you must fill these documents to present an offer, okay, guys? That's what it is. So we cover the contract to lease. Now we're gonna cover the listing agreement. Anybody has any questions for me? Okay, good. Remember, the best thing to do here is you take out your form simplicity with me and we go together so you can read the lines and make sure you understand each line what it is. I know that it will be easier for you guys. I just want to make sure. All right, let's do the last one. Last one, not least, is gonna be the listing contract. That's what everybody wants. Why? Because listing is very easy. How come easy, you're gonna say? Well, I'm talking about easy that we got the property for sale and usually you got exclusive to pay your commission. So you know you're gonna make money there with the commission, right? That's what it is. All right, we're gonna have an, okay, we'll go to the listing contract. Exclusive live. And the next class, we're gonna make sure that you understand the e-sign, if anybody know. Exclusive brokerage listing agreement. Remember, we're not looking for which one, you see right here, if everybody see the exclusive listing agreement, the exclusive brokerage listing agreement, you're gonna have, do you see how many you have? Guys, you gotta pick the exclusive right to sell listing agreement for transaction brokerage. Okay, remember that. Okay, so it's gonna be exclusive listing agreement for right here, exclusive right to sell listing agreement to transaction broker. All right, guys, transaction broker, remember that. Remember that. It's important for you to remember exclusive right of sale listing agreement, transaction broker. That's the one we use. Why? Because we are showing the transaction broker. So the way you're going to identify the forms, guys, all the forms has a number on the bottom. If you see here, okay, you see ERS 18 TV, all right, revise. So you got to make sure that the exclusive right listing agreement, the exclusive right of sale listing agreement, it has to be, remember I told you the brokerage, the transaction broker. Okay, exclusive right listing agreement is very simple, guys. It's only 4 pages, and you're gonna make sure how you're gonna handle it. Again, you can do it, but you're gonna have a listing agreement. You know, you're gonna have sellers, the seller Juan Tamal, and you're gonna have broker. Of course, broker is the company, Florida Finance Homes. Why Florida Finance Homes? Because that's the listing agreement it's gonna belong to. Then you have the dates. Minimum listing agreement date is gonna be 6 months, guys. Minimum is 6 months, okay? Everything is negotiable, but you go by 6 months, okay? The legal information on the lines number, you see the little asterisks, 2, 3, 13, 17, you see little, they mark. So they will go to the property. This is the basic information for the legal description for the property. That means address, personal property, including appliances. Remember again, if you need to take something out, you need to put it in here. Chandelier or something special. Occupancy is or is not currently occupied the property. What it means by that? If it's any lease, line 20, line 22, oh, we're gonna put the house for sale for $400,000. We can do cash, conventional, BA, and FHA. All right. Let's say the seller want to finance, so seller financing too. You pick whatever you need to pick in there. I will help you out. I will help you out to do that. That's not an issue. Just want to make sure you understand where the forms are, how they work, and how to fill them up. All right. That's the broker obligation, a multiple listing process that we need to add on the listing. All right. And you're gonna have here, display the property on the internet except the address. Some of the people, they don't want to have the address on the internet. It don't make sense, but if they want it, you choose there. If they don't want to put it in the MLS, I don't know why they don't. They will put it in there too, but yeah, you don't need these two. Okay. You're gonna use a lockbox. Check there. Withhold verbal offers, withhold all offers when seller accept a sales contract of the property. Let's say you got multiple offers and the seller say, listen, as soon as I accept one offer, the only thing that I want to do is don't bring more offers. I let you know, let me know how much is it, and you hold the offers. Okay, so we hold all the offers if you want. Verbal offers, the same. They tell you, oh, we can receive a verbal offers. That's fine. And remember something, we have the RPR, the BOW, the virtual office website. What happens is we can estimate with the hyperlinks, and estimate there how much the property costs. If you can send it by email, do it. So it's easier for you to do it. So take advantage of the technology, right? Seller do not authorize estimate of the market of the property. Why they're gonna do that, right? But if they don't wanna do it, that's fine. Just check the proper boxes. And we have, of course, this is your favorite one, compensation. Let's say we're gonna do on a residential, it's gonna be 6% commission. Okay. And in here, people have 3 days after review this contract to terminate because that's the law. And if they default on a property, we can keep 50% of the deposit. Compensation, you see it in here. Compensation, transaction broker, they will go 50%. Okay. That's always the way we do it. Why? Because you got 3%, the other realtor got 3%, right? Conditional termination, usually we got $1,000 for terminations. That means they can terminate the contract before, but then if you do your job, they will not terminate the contract, trust me. Any additional terms, you add it up in there. All the signatures, and we do it again. Remember, guys, we must complete all signatures and initials. And this is one of the more important parts in the listing contract. You had to deliver a copy to the seller by email, by fax. How you gonna do it? Not a problem. Just make sure they receive a copy complete, right? So each 4 pages that you're gonna do. Okay. Remember, don't worry about it. I just want to go over all the 3 contracts we use, the main contract that we use in the real estate market. And what we're going to do is very simple. If you got a question, we're going to fill up a contract, you call me. Why? Because I want to make sure you understand all. I'm going to finish with this. This is one of my transactions that I'm going to close probably tomorrow. Oh, I'm sorry, on Friday. Okay. His name is Diego Lopez. So when you already got the transactions in here, that's the way it will be appear on you when you already save it and everything. So I'm gonna open up for you, and this is a condo that we're gonna close on it. I'm gonna show you this. You see how many, everything is in here, guys. Look at this. Look, I did an ASIS contract, an addendum to contract, homeowner association, HOA, let Spain. I extend the contract. That's very important, guys. If you need to extend the contract for inspections or for closing date or whatever you need to extend the contract, make sure you fill up an extension and addendum, right? And let's say, unfortunately, we need to cancel the contract, release and cancellation of the contract for sale and purchase. That's another addendum everybody needs to sign to cancel the contract. I'm gonna show it to you. This one was used before in an offer that we put, and the offer didn't go through. This is how they look, the release and cancellation of contract, you see? So that was an ASIS contract, sell and purchase. The address, Florida Finance Hub, the other company, $5,000, they want to return the escrow to the end buyer and seller signs, and you release it. That's it. That's the way. Okay. And we go to Diego again. We go to Diego again one more time. Just I want to show you the last, not the last, but the lease addendum again. You see right here, let the sped extension, guys. This is one of the best thing that I need to show you. Why? Because if you need to extend the contract, I'm going to show you this form. All right. You see right here. Look at this. You see, I extend the property for the closing date for January 30, 2022, correct? And then I have to extend it again, but I just want to show you the form. So they call extension addendum to the contract. And this is what I want to show you. They was having some problems with the title company, with some permits and things like that. The title company advised me all that information. So, but anyways, the seller said he will cure the problem with the title before closing. But I need to extend the title period. So I extend it again. Why? Because I want to make sure it's not my fault to be extended. If it's a short sale, and in here, if you see the last line that I want to show you, due diligency period. If you need to extend the inspections, that's the word you're going to use. And this is very, very nice because there's only one form for anything that we need to do. So that's it. You complete that. So basically, that was one of the quick reviews for the quick form that we have. Make sure, please, make sure that if you got any questions at all, call me or let me know or send me a text. When you're going to do the first contract, you need to read all these 3 contracts that I tell you. You need to read the ASIS contract, you need to read the listing contract, and you need to read the contract to lease, guys. Why? Because you need to get familiar with the terms when you're going to talk to your buyer, your seller, either one, or your landlord or your tenant, either. So you have, that's really, really the important part for you. Why? Because it's like, basically it's your office. You're going to use it all the time for anything that, if you're going to write a contract for tenant, you need the contract to lease. If you're going to have a property for sale, you need the listing agreement. If you're going to do a contract on a property, you need the ASIS contract. So that's what, and of course, the plus, right? The addendums and things like that. But like I told you, you're not alone. I'm really happy to be here with you guys, especially because I want to teach you guys the best that I can so you can make a good career in real estate and make a lot of money, right? So any question that you have? Everything good? Okay. So you reach to me, call me if you got any questions. You got my number. And this is good to go. Daniela, I hope you enjoy the class. Joel, Julio, and everybody. Any question that you have, reach to me. Daniela, you got any? Daniela, you be able to open the form Simplicity, or you busy?
Yeah, I was able to do it. I actually filled out the forms as you were filling it out, and I saved them so I can just go back and look at it.
Oh, okay. But anyways, any of you that you need to, when it's time to fill them up, call me so we go together if you need to. Not a problem. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. So you have a good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Julio. Bye.
All right. Take care, guys. Bye.